Alright, are we live? I believe we're live, at least on YouTube. Start streaming on Rumble. Cannot access... Oh, okay, that's probably why. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Hold on. Sorry. Stop recording. Yes. Okay. Settings. I have to redo this. I forgot about this. Hold on. Give me a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm stupid, I know. Alright, apply. Okay. Start streaming. Yes. Okay, now we are on Rumble. Alright. Anyway, good morning. Hello. Welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. And of course, all links gathered throughout the show will appear post-live stream. Anyway, I am Xander, and you are you. We might be joined by the Loon today, I'm not entirely sure. It's a gamble. Anyway, today is, what is today? Sun's Day? I don't know. No, it's Saturday. Saturn's Day. November 25th, 2023. Let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting us off in the year 1034, we have Malcolm II, King of Scots, aka Mea Colliam Mac Sinaida, was born in 980, okay, died today. Don Shad, the son of his second daughter, Bethoc, and Srinnan of Dunkeld, inherited the throne. Okay, that was, a struggle to get through, but, yeah. Moving on up to 1120, the White Ship capsized near the Normandy coast while crossing the English Channel, transporting many nobles, including the heir to the English throne, from France to England. About 300 died. There is only one survivor. Wow. That's a hell of a tale right there, and many, high names, were lost, nobles and whatnot. Whew, that's a painful thing right there. And we got the Battle of Montezard, in 1177. Baldwin IV, the leper king, I believe, of Jerusalem, defeated Saladin and a larger Ayyubid force. Yes, Baldwin IV, really great king, really humble, and yes, he had leprosy. And he died, what was it, at the age of 28 or something? He was young, but, leprosy and everything. Go see the movie Kingdom of Heaven. That's a really good one. We have 1357. Charles IV issued Letter of Protection of Jews of Strasbourg, Alsace. That's a little weird, huh? The Jews, for always being such a subjugated and attacked people, they're also the only people that have had, protection from places all over, but we never talk about that. Oh, heavens no. So, but yeah, it's a little weird how Jews always get, protection and all that stuff, even though they're always victims. It's kind of strange. Anyway, 1491, the Siege of Granada, the last Moorish stronghold in Spain, began. All right. 1500, Governor de Bobadilla of Santo Domingo captured Christopher Columbus. And I wonder why. What was going on? Was he a felon? On arrest of Columbus and his brothers. On Bobadilla's order, Christopher Columbus appeared before him in Santo Domingo in September 1500. It's not September anymore. Columbus was jailed in the fortress there together with his other brother, Bartholomew Columbus, who had returned to Santo Domingo after a campaign against the natives in Jaragua. Okay. So if anybody wants to read more about this, if I can find who captured, who became governor, where did Columbus, is Columbus Italian? Okay, it's not telling me why he did that. But if anybody can tell us, please do so in the comments section. That would be very helpful to not just, me and us here in Omni Coalition, but anybody else watching this. But yeah, I'm going to have the wiki for Francisco de Bobadilla in the underbar section, as I said, post-live stream. Anyway, we got to move on up to 1667, in which a deadly earthquake rocked Shimaka in the Caucasus, killing 80,000 people. Holy crap. That's a lot of people. Wow. Rest in peace to all those guys. Jeez, man. Earthquakes are no joke. We also have 1715. This one was kind of funny. The first English patent granted to an American for processing corn. Okay, so this is not the first English patent, period. I thought, I read this wrong. I thought this was the first ever English patent was granted to an American, which would have been, hilariously ironic, but no. So this is the first English patent granted to an American for processing corn. Okay, so yeah, harvesting. We also have in 1744, Austrian forces pillaged and killed the Jews of Prague. Okay, speaking of, here is, the antithesis of what I was talking about earlier. Like, they were, victims in this situation, and this would not be the only time Austria did things against the Jews, unfortunately. But yeah, at least this one wasn't as bad as what was coming up, though. It's still not good. 1755, King Ferdinand IV of Spain was granted the Beatero de la Compañía de Jesus, or what is now known as the Congregation of the Religious of the Virgin Mary, RVM, a royal protection. Okay, so I stand corrected. Here's a protection for Christian people. So, alright. Okay. 1783, Britain evacuated New York City, its last military position in the United States. Yeah, and it took that was, we talked about the siege of Yorktown and the end of the Civil War, the end of the Revolution, a week or so ago, a couple weeks, or it's been a while, I'm not sure. But it happened like a month ago, whatever. So yeah, this is when they're, finally getting out of here. We also have in 1792, Benjamin Banneker first published his Farmer's Almanac. And for those who do not know, the Farmer's Almanac actually is a very, very interesting piece of literature that might still be going on today. It is an annual American periodical that has been a continuous publication since 1818. So this provides long-range weather forecasts for both the U.S. and Canada, and not just that, but history, weather prediction, notable articles. Okay, well, there's the wiki for this is not, but it also talked about what climates are good for what seeds, what plants should you plant at this time versus that, all sorts of things, that anything conceivable that can be used by farmers was in that book. And even more things. I think it even got into some automotive stuff later on, because they have to maintain their tractors and whatnot. So, yeah, Farmer's Almanac, really, really historically significant. Moving on up to 1812, Mexican insurgents captured the strategic city of Oaxaca from Royalist forces during the Mexican War of Independence. Oh wow! So yeah, their own revolution, their own revolution right there. Yep. And then in 1817, we have the first sword swallower in the U.S. performed in New York City. All right, so yeah, loosen up them throat muscles, and get that sword in there. That is what I call danger fellatio. So, yeah, I can't believe I said that on air. Anyway, 1826, the Greek frigate Hellas arrived in Nafplion to become the first flagship of the Hellenic Navy. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Their first flagship of the Navy. Alright. Good for them. 1834, Delmonico's, one of New York's finest restaurants, provided a meal of soup, steak, coffee, and half a pie for the low price of 12 cents. Wow. You can't even buy a pencil for that anymore. Wow. You can have a full meal of soup, steak, coffee, and half a pie? Half a pie, not half a slice. Half a pie! Half of the whole entire... Now, granted, the pie might be entirely, this big, but still, 12 cents? Come on. That is great living back then, Except for the slavery part and stuff, so, yeah, never mind. 1839, the cyclone slammed southeastern India with high winds and a 40-foot storm surge, destroying the city of Coringa. The storm wave swept inland, destroying 20,000 ships and killing an estimated 300,000 people. Over 250,000 people by 50 grand. Wow. Yeah, well, India, has been notoriously densely populated and overpopulated, actually, some would say, for quite some time, but not being the only one. China, Mexico, a lot of these nations have, a high number of people. Japan, actually, is, the best example of, high number of people packed in a small area. So, but it is said that if you put everybody in the world, just have them stand all next to each other, you can fit the entire world population in downtown LA or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, 1841, 35 survivors of the mutiny on the slave ship Amistad returned to Africa. Alright, good for them. 1864, a Confederate plot to burn New York City failed. I did not know that was a thing, but wow, so good. 1867, U.S. Congress Commission looked into impeachment of President Andrew Johnson. Alright, so yeah, this whole impeachment stuff, it's been going on for quite some time. 1874, the United States Greenback Party was established as a political party consisting primarily of farmers affected by the Panic of 1873. Power to the people! Yes, by the people, for the people, or for the people, by the people. The people always have and always will be the backbone of any society. I don't care what government it is, Democratic, Republic, fascist, communist, dictatorial, whatever the government is, throughout all of time, the peasants have always been the real power. And their acceptance or non-acceptance of things. Just look at France and all of their revolutions. Look at our revolution. Look at the Mexican revolution that we spoke about earlier. Look what's happening in Argentina right now. So, yeah. Yeah, afuela, afuela, afuela! Anyway, 1884, John B. Mainberg of St. Louis patented evaporated milk. Alright. So good old powdered milk. 1885, Banff National Park, Canada's first national park established as Rocky Mountains Park in Alberta. Alright, cool. So their first national park. Happy birthday to that. We also have 1894, Greenback Independent Party organized in Indianapolis. And yeah, oh yeah, right here, the bipartisan system needs to go. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to get too much into my political opinions, but, people really need to understand that you don't have to vote for the lesser of two evils. If you look at the history of presidents, there were some not of the conservative or, Democratic parties. There are people in the Whig Party and other independent parties, and you still have a choice. No vote is wasted if, voting actually works. If I'm wrong in my beliefs about that, but you know what? This is why I don't really play both sides per se, but I understand both sides, and I champion everything until I can't champion something due to one reason or another. You get what I'm saying. Follow your heart, not the herd at the booth. Please. 1897, Spain granted Puerto Rico autonomy. Alright, go Puerto Rico. I really wish that we would do the same. Well, kind of, sort of, we gave them and all that stuff, but 1899, Battle of Graspan, Cape Colony, General Mithuen defeated the farmers. Well, the people don't always win. Well, actually, seldomly win, but still, gotta, yeah. 1905, we have the first ad for a radio set. Telemaco made the first ever advertisement for a radio set by advertising an $8.50 set in the Scientific American, which claimed to receive signals for up to 1 mile. And technically, since I'm showing this now on air, I am unintentionally advertising for this. So, where's my sit pen? I'm giving you free advertisement. Wireless telegraph, electro importing company. Where's my advertising fee? My royalty, whatever the heck it's called. Anyway, 1912, American College of Surgeons incorporated in Springfield, Illinois. Well, we need surgeons. We need people to educate, higher on, the human body, so that way, somebody doesn't cut wrong. I mean, you think surgeons are these, magnificent people, but they're people. People make mistakes. This is why they draw a dotted line or, they draw, X marks a spot, because otherwise, and it has happened countless times, as I said, this is why we do it. They sometimes cut off or go into or take out the wrong leg or organ or something, They need to follow the dots. They need somebody, okay, cut off this leg, not this one, So, it happens. We also have 1912 as well. Socialist International rejected the World War, or that World War was coming. And, yeah, they had to eat their own shoe because it did come. And it came again. And technically, we're still living in a post-World War I era, because, as many people say, World War II is just an extension of World War I, which I agree. But then that bled into the Cold War, that bled into the space race, that bled into the modern day. So I'd say we've been fighting the same conflict for over a century now, kind of, sort of, But hey, that's just, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. What can I say? 1913, the Irish Volunteers founded in Dublin to secure the rights and liberties common to all the people of Ireland. All right. I agree with that. I fully support an Irish free state. Or a free Irish state, or whatever the hell the saying is. 1920, we have the first Thanksgiving parade was held in Philadelphia. All right, and as okay, I'll leave this. Okay, I really need some feedback on this. All right, now my dad said because we had gotten some peppermint bark, and as we all know, like candy canes and peppermint, that's a Christmas thing. Okay, you can't have that before Thanksgiving. Yeah, at least if you live in the United States or Canada, which celebrates Thanksgiving a month longer, so they have even, yeah. But anyway, actually no, the United States have a longer wait to do. But anyway, no, I say that Thanksgiving is done when Santa's jolly fat ass rounds that corner in that parade. Now it's Christmas time. Now you can eat the peppermint bark. Nay, nay. He says after Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Day are two different things. Thanksgiving is the actual event of eating the dinner. The day is the day. I say it's after Thanksgiving, in which it's now legally Christmas time, and you can eat the peppermint bark. What say you? Let's have the people vote. Talking about the people being in power. Let's have the people vote on this internal family squabble as to when it is legal to consume peppermint bark. Okay, now let's get back onto the history today. Let's see, 1920 as well, WTAW of College Station, Texas, broadcasted the first football play-by-play. Okay, well, that's pretty interesting. And then 2 years later, we have Crown Prince Hirohito of Japan became the regent of Japan in his ailing father's stead. And he would eventually become the Emperor of Japan and would serve up to, throughout, and even after the Second World War as the Empire of Japan and everything. He was our enemy and all that stuff. But we allowed him to retain his throne as a figurehead as General McCarthy essentially became the leader of Japan and everything it controls. So, for a short amount of time. Moving on up to 1925, KPD proposed German Parliament expropriate possession of monarchy. I don't really know exactly what that means, but I have a feeling it has something to do with the things leading up to Hitler. Oh yeah, Weimar Republic, expropriation of the princess in the Weimar Republic. So yeah, I'll just add this to the underbar description section, yada yada. If anybody wants to look this up and really tell me, or tell everybody in the comments section, what is up with that. That we can't really go down rabbit holes here on the show, unfortunately. 1930. Wow. Yeah. Edo, Japan recorded 690 earthquake shocks in one day. Holy crap. Well, it is Japan. They're on the edge of the ring of fire, and they burn, no, ring of fire. We also have in 1933 the first Soviet liquid rocket fuel attained an altitude of 261 feet or 80 meters. But hey, they have now liquid fuel, which I believe we use solid rocket fuel now. Actually, it is superior because, as we know, liquid is liquid and it moves. And if you have something that can not really change its mass but alter its center of gravity while trying to send it up into space, is not the best idea. You want a solid fuel source and everything, so that way things don't shift. You have a more stable foundation to get up there. But still, Soviet rockets and everything. We all know about their rocket trucks during World War II and all that stuff. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
And you are
the Golden Loon.
Yeah, we're already up in the 1930s and stuff. You've missed quite a few interesting articles, actually, unfortunately, but we have quite a few more. We have 1935 here, International Institute for Society History, IISG, formed in Amsterdam. My people. So, 1936, Germany and Japan signed Anti-Comintern Pact. Germany and Japan, we know, were 2/3 of the Axis powers.
Yeah.
So they were working hand in hand well before the war.
Two major factors.
Yeah. The third one, of course, being Italy.
Right.
But then they repeated history and changed sides as they did in the first one. So, that is after we kicked their teeth in.
Yeah.
So
I think it was more of a surrender than changing sides.
well, also people were fed up with Mussolini. You know, it was a lot more complicated than them just deciding. They had a revolution essentially and a coup d'état. Then Germany came in for a while and took over. It was a mess. So, yeah. 1937, the World's Fair of Paris closed with 31.2 million visitors. How crazy must it have been back then? You know, like 1937. You know, you're a Paris citizen. You know, the World's Fair closed. You know, like your life is at its peak. 2 years later, the Germans are marching on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like on a dime.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, wait a second. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
right.
Germany invaded France in 1940, not 1939. But still, okay, 3 years later.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter. Doesn't
but still,
matter.
you know, like, you know, 3 years, like, you know, you're now under the occupation of Nazi Germany, whereas 3 years later, you were hosting the World's Fair.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow. You know. Anyway, 1938, Lavrentiy Beria succeeded Nikolai Yezhov as the head of the Soviet secret police, NKVD, after Yezhov was executed on Joseph Stalin's orders. That is frightening.
You are not kidding.
It's like you just hear a gunshot. It's like, hey, we have a job opening. Like,
Yeah.
you better not fail me.
Don't screw up.
Yeah. Oh no. Which actually, did he get killed? Hold on a second. Yeah, he did. Executed. Wait a minute. Lavrentiy. So hold on a second. Yezhov was executed. And this is not Yezhov. This is the guy who became Secret of Police. So this is the other guy, and he got executed too. And wait, yeah, in 1953. So he actually lasted quite a while, but yikes, man! Like
It's a tough job.
that is terrifying.
You don't come out alive.
You know, it's places like the Soviet Union where you don't want a promotion, you don't want to get noticed. You just want to be ignored and left alone and do your little tinkering work. You know, don't worry about me. You know, I'm fine. I'm a good little Soviet. You know, like no, you don't want to. You don't want to. You know, get noticed in that world. So anyway, 1940 as well, Nazi intelligence agency Schinderheisendienst SD arrested Dutch resistance fighter Bernard Izerjat, founder of Die Guizen. And I don't really know much about any of that, but like, you know, a resistance fighter arrested by a Nazi he must be fighting on the right side. You know, he's against the Nazis, so that's all I need. We also have 1940 as well. We're going to be in 40 for another couple times. The SS Patria carrying illegal immigrants sunk in port of Haifa, causing the deaths of 200. I mean, you know, that sucks. A death is a death. You know, every death is tragic.
Yeah.
If it's one or a billion, every death is tragic. But at the same time, they're illegal immigrants, so I'm just like, you know, especially with what's going on today, I don't have as much leniency for them. You know, it's still sad, but maybe if they had not been illegal, they would have survived. You know, if they'd gone through the right channels. But then again, you know, like, as it is today, and as it always has been, and most likely will be, sometimes, you know, you just gotta do illegal things to survive. You know? Like, it's really tough life. You know, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and, you know, that's when you start getting in the lesser of two evils mentality. Like, it's hard. You know? 1940 as well, Woody Woodpecker debuted with release of Walter Lance's Knock Knock. So
Knock Knock?
Yeah. Woody Woodpecker. I wonder if anybody even knows about Woody Woodpecker in today's world other than people like us, you know? So, images, let's take up. Yeah, this guy here. Yeah, Knock Knock, right there. So, there you go. And I think this is the first right there. Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah, because he's not...
He's changed since that first one.
Yeah, like, you know, character. That's a cool plate. But yeah, if anybody wants, for whatever reason, to read up on the wiki of Woody Woodpecker, there you go. Alright, what else do we got here? 1941, Finland joined the anti-communist Anti-Comintern Pact. Alright, you know. 1941 as well, German Jews in the Netherlands were declared stateless, loss of nationality. That's awful. So... Can you imagine, you know, being like, you know, like all of a sudden, where you've lived in your whole life, they're like, oh yeah, you're no longer considered a resident of here. Excuse me?
Yeah.
You know, like, okay. 1941, Lou Bradu, at the age of 24, became Cleveland Indians player manager. That is young. At the age of 24,
Oh,
you're the
very young.
manager
Very young.
of a wow, dude.
Very
Like, 1942, National Organization for Aid to Underground (LO) formed. Okay. 1944, World War II, a German V-2 rocket hit a Woolworths store in Deptford, United Kingdom, killing 160 shoppers.
Kind of said Woolworths. I was going to say, wait a second.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it came here, you know.
Oh, no,
It's
no.
somewhere in our country. I go, I never heard of that.
Oh, that would have been...
I don't know. I didn't know Woolworths was over there, but it
Plot-
must have been an English company coming to the U.S., I imagine.
Plot twist, Nazi Germany had modern-day ICBMs. But no, like, that's awful. Like, you know, I've spoken about this a couple times, you know, like, that shopping mall or whatever collapsed in South Korea.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff. Like, can you imagine going out to the grocery store, to Woolworths, or going out shopping, and all of a sudden it collapses or gets hit by a missile or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, that's just awful.
Yeah. Now, wait a second. Is Woolworths an English company then?
I believe so. Let me look this up. Is Woolworths...
Well, I just think Woolworths is the American store, you know.
The original American firm was founded in 1879 when Frank Woolworth, a sales assistant, opened a shop in the state of Pennsylvania. So it is an American. So
Yeah.
that was...
Just happens to be the same name.
Well, I mean, maybe they had a branch.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like I mean, there could be Woolworths in Japan. Who knows?
Well, I mean, were there copyright laws and stuff back then?
Not for another country. We don't even have that today.
No, we do. Well, no, we don't.
Not if you open
You're
up
right.
if you open up a Pizza Hut. And,
Yeah, no. You're 100% right because Burger King in Australia is called Hungry Jack's because there already was a Burger King before Burger King got there. Our Burger King.
Yeah.
So okay, so yeah, you're right.
Burger King just didn't go in and buy the name. They got enough money to do that.
I don't know. For whatever reason, you
Yeah.
know, they didn't. Maybe
Okay,
the
so it is
owners.
an American. You
So,
just
yeah.
think of Woolworths as American, you know.
Maybe it was different. I don't know. You know what? Another challenge to you viewers: was this Woolworths a branch of the American company, or was it its own entity? Let us know in the comment section. Anyway, we got to move on up to 1947. New Zealand acceded. I'm not pronouncing that right. To Statute of Westminster, becoming a dominion. Okay, so like now New Zealand is now owned by the British Crown.
Seeds, man.
Seeds, okay.
Gave away. Yeah. Not gave away, but it's not exactly right.
And then 1947 as well, the first systematic Hollywood blacklist was instituted, denying employment to American entertainment professionals due to alleged communist ties or sympathies.
There we go.
And how was that turned on its head?
Yeah.
You want to
Just
talk
the
about
opposite
Commie
now.
Central now? Woo!
It's just as devastating today, but the opposite.
Yeah, well, I mean, McCarthyism doesn't hold a light to the flame to the
Oh, no.
candle. That
No,
what they're
compared to
doing.
what's going on today, no.
Yeah, because they weren't going out killing communists, popping them off in the street, in mostly peaceful protests. So, yeah. 1948, 16-inch coastal guns removed from Fort Funston, San Francisco. And, the thing I didn't know, until, our trip back in the day, when I was trying to find, what was it, SF-89 or SF-88? Yeah, well, we found it. We also found all those embankments.
Oh, I know.
And actually, all the way back to the Civil War era, that port, obviously, because it's extremely strategically valuable, was heavily fortified, with guns and everything. So they've had, they had gun emplacements, stuff from the Civil War era, from World War I, World War II. They had batteries, like so many batteries. It's absolutely crazy. So if you're ever out there for whatever, specifically north end of the Golden Gate Bridge, go out west along the where the lighthouse is and everything. So many gun emplacements.
Bunkers.
Yeah, bunkers. Pillboxes are out there. So and actually,
and the other side, I forgot the name of it. There was Fort something. It was a whole army base. Right under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, there was. It's still there. It's
still
not
there,
really
but it's-
active, I don't believe.
No,
but...
it is. It's now been turned over to Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay.
I know that as a surfer because now you can go surf there.
Well, what's really interesting is, hold on a second, Golden Gate. Hey, I'm just gonna get a map view here real quick. I know we're kind of hold on a second. Why is it not? Here we go. Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. Let me get the satellite view, just to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, See, there's gun emplacements here.
Yeah.
There's there's a Nike missile base. There's Battery Alexander, Battery. Where you can't really see it right here, but these are covered like in Normandy. Those are big cannon covered things because of aircraft. Yeah. So because these gun batteries were there prior, they actually later built the hills over them because of the innovation of aircraft. The bottom part was there prior to it. All of this wasn't constructed as one unit. They literally built the top over it later on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and all the tunnel networks all around there is crazy. But what's really crazy is that I believe this is, where are the actually is it right there? I'm trying to find it. There's an area around San Francisco where there's modern day ruins. Remember the baths and everything? The giant baths they had that was destroyed by an earthquake. It's around here somewhere. And the
baths were on the other side.
Oh, they were?
On the San Francisco side. Yeah, they were over in there.
Okay.
They're somewhere right over it. If you scroll somewhere over in there, probably a little farther down, but I believe that's somewhere.
Oh, would it have been here?
Something.
That's a marsh. I don't know, wherever. I thought it was
further down. What was that?
This is our Oregon that we went to.
Oh,
which, by the way, this is powered by the tide. And depending on high and low tide and stuff, there's pipes and everything. You can hear the ocean making music.
But we didn't hear much.
Yeah.
It was high tide or something.
It was still pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, let's get back on track here. 1949, Gene Autry's single "Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer" appeared on music charts. Songwriter Johnny Marks adapted poem written by his brother-in-law Robert L. May from Montgomery Ward department stores. As we said,
Ward.
As we said prior, what is today, a cherished, beloved children's, holiday song, and the movie, the lore, all this stuff. It originated as a bloody marketing campaign. Same as the depiction of Santa, Coca-Cola and all that stuff. Like Christmas has been, become corporate and like marketed and turned into consumer hell in ways that we don't even understand.
And didn't you benefit nicely from that as a kid? You talk about corporate winning on your behalf. I was showered with junk.
Yeah, and now I'm still dealing with it.
What do you mean dealing?
Getting all the shit out of the house.
Well, it's your fault. You won't let anything go.
Ooh, because it has emotional value.
Oh, I had that when I was 2.
I never had friends. So.
Yeah, you did.
Well, not really.
Not a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, 1950, the United Nations gave Eritrea to Ethiopia, which, I understand the United Nations, but where do they get off? Like coming in and being like, oh, this part of this country is now this part of this country. Like, no, you can't go in and do that. You're there to overlook, not to dictate.
Yeah.
So, I don't like that. 1951, 17 people died in a train crash in Woodstock, Alabama. Yikes.
Different Woodstock.
Yeah, I know.
Not New York.
Too bad they weren't hippies.
Go ahead, folks. Tune them out. I don't care.
Well, you're a former hippie, okay? And I'm talking mainly because of what the hippies have caused, what we're living through today, not that I wish death on anyone, but if you can go back in time and eliminate people, to prevent things from happening currently, would you? Would
I eliminate people? No.
Yeah. Back in time.
No. No. We are what we are because of our history.
You are correct. The age-old question, would you go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby?
No. You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, if I know anything...
and not physically. If you could, you never know. That event, you never know where you would.
But see, that answer was that question was kind of answered. If you know of the Red Alert series, Albert Einstein went back in time and killed Adolf Hitler before his rise to power. But with the elimination of him, that just opened up Stalin to just sweep in and conquer Europe.
See, there you go.
So
you don't know where you would have been.
Yeah, exactly. So even someone as evil and horrible as Hitler serves his place in history.
Any one thing of it is all.
Everything is important. Everything is connected, as I've always been saying.
Together, and we're here because of it.
Yeah, we just gotta live with it. Anyway, getting out of that craziness, moving on up into 1951 as well. While the Woodstock thing happened, the Cleveland Browns were penalized a record 209 yards against the Chicago Bears. That sounds painful.
That's a lot of penalties.
Yeah. Da Bears. And I mispronounced Chicago. Chicago! Oh, yeah. 1951 as well, commemoration of Dutch resistance fighter Hannie Schaft was forbidden. Okay, what did he do?
I have no idea.
He was a resistance fighter, so what side was he? A good guy or a bad guy? It depends on what side you're on.
Yeah.
Why was this? Let's do a surface level scratch on that potential rabbit hole. Hannie Schaft, commemoration of at Hannie's grave was forbidden in 1951. Who was the woman? Oh, a woman? Okay, might have been Hannie Schaft. That sounds like a female name, maybe. Okay, well, you know what? I'm just gonna post the wiki, and it was a woman. Okay, so it was a woman. All right. Why was Hannie Schaft getting the shaft? So, yeah, that's a question I'd like to answer.
What was she resisting too?
Well, probably the Nazis. Let's see here. Hannie Schaft.
She's from Germany.
Let's see. A Dutch resistance fighter during World War II, she became known as the girl with the red hair. Her secret name in the resistance movement was Hannie.
Oh, okay. Sounds like then it is.
Netherlands. She was born in Haarlem, the Netherlands. Okay. Execution by shooting. Good God.
Wow.
Resistance fighter during World War II, but what side?
Well, obviously she's in the resistance.
Okay. Righteous among the nations. The Holocaust, rescuers of Jews, righteousness, 7 laws of Noah, Yad Vashem. She was a good guy. Okay.
I wish I knew her name from history. I do now.
Well, that's why we do this show.
Yeah, but now I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So now, why did Shaft get the shaft? She was a good guy. What's going on? So, yeah, let us know in the comment section. 1952, the only win over NFL Dallas Texans, 1-11, beating the Chicago Bears, 27-23 at the Cotton Bowl. Okay, talking about those Bears again. 1953, Frank Loesser's musical Guys and Dolls, starring Robert Alda, Vivian Blaine, and Sam Levine, closed at 46th Street Theater, New York City, after 1,200 performances and 5 Tony Awards. That's impressive.
Yeah.
1955, race segregation was forbidden on trains and buses between U.S. states. So yes.
How about that?
Yeah. 1957, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower suffered a mild stroke, impairing his speech. That is sad.
Yeah.
Normally I don't report it who cares about strokes? Who cares about it? It's Eisenhower. I love that guy.
He was, and I was very young, obviously, but I just remember him as always having heart problems. He had different heart attacks, and a stroke is part of a heart attack, I guess.
Yeah.
What year was that again?
57.
Okay, so I do have memory. That could be part of what I have memories of.
Yeah.
Because I was, I was 11 years old then, so I was
Yeah. You were starting to become aware of the world around you.
Yeah.
So
he was probably not even, he wasn't even the president anymore. I don't believe.
No. I don't believe so either. 1958, Senegal became an autonomous state in the French community. Cool.
Yeah.
So 1959, Mary Rogers and Marshall Baer's musical Once Upon a Mattress, starring Carol Burnett and directed by George Abbott, opened at Alban Theater, New York City, after starring off-Broadway at the Phoenix Theater, later moved to St. James. Alright. Once Upon a Mattress, though, that sounds rather risque. So, yeah, 1960, the first atomic reactor for research and development in Richland, Washington. Ooh. Cool. Atomics. Yeah. And, Oppenheimer, just got recently released, on DVD, Blu-ray, or onto however movie is released anymore these days. I don't know if they even make DVDs anymore. Unless
I have no idea.
It's probably a small market. I know someone who is building a physical collection because, if you look at things like, Steam or whatever, all it takes is one guy to decide they don't like your politics, and all of a sudden they flip a switch and $10,000 worth of a collection is gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's happened on Steam, I've known people who spent thousands of dollars and then they forget their password and they just make a new account. It's like, why?
Oh, man.
Go down the rabbit hole. You have thousands of dollars. Whatever, I'll just buy it again. What the fuck?
Someone that has too much money.
Someone who just doesn't. You're just too lazy. It's not money. They're just too lazy. It's just. Anyway. 1960, 3 of the 4 Mirabelle sisters, opponents of the dictatorship of Rafael Rafael Trujillo of the Dominican Republic were assassinated. Yikes.
Ooh.
No, you got 1961. NBA's Bob Cousy became the second player to score 15,000 points.
He doesn't get enough recognition how great he was back in the day.
Yeah, well, I'm giving him the recognition.
He made a major change of basketball.
Yeah,
he was the first guy to really push the ball up the court.
Yeah, yeah. We've talked about him a couple of times. I recognize him now. So, who's the guy on the NBA logo? It's some white dude.
Oh yeah,
Not Larry Bird. Why did
no? Oh, come on! I'm going blank. Okay.
Who's the guy on the NBA logo?
Jerry West. Jerry West.
You're right. Yeah. I believe you. I'm just bringing it up just to prove you're right. So, yeah. Which I'm all for, traditional and all this stuff to certain points but at the same time, a while ago it was proposed that they changed the NBA logo for and instead of one universal logo they have who's the guy from the Bulls?
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan for the East and Kobe Bryant for the West. So
kind of updated.
Yeah, I'm all for keeping what it has, but I'm also for the updated idea. I'm sure there's a way that there can be both. Maybe the NBA as a whole keeps Jerry West, and then you can have the separate ones for the East versus West, kind of like how the NFL, the football conferences have their East and West. Although, do they really have their own separate logos? They have the AFL and NFL. So
logos, as far as logos, I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, 1963, JFK was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. Yeah, we've seen his grave.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been there. 1967, Puerto Rico was placed on Atlantic Standard Time. Okay. 1970, in Japan, author Yukio Mishimiya and two compatriots committed harikiri, ritualistic, ending self, after an unsuccessful coup attempt. So, I guess that's better than rotting in prison or getting executed. Taking matters into your own hands. So.
Well, that's the Japanese mentality.
Well, not even just, there's the Japanese mentality of I have failed or I have dishonored, therefore I must end my existence. And then there's also the mentality, like Rommel. Rommel killed himself after his plot to kill Hitler failed because he knew he'd get executed, so he wasn't Japanese. He's just what, I'm going to go out by my own
reasons to commit suicide. But I'm just saying, there is a culture in Japan, and it's about all honor.
I'm not even talking about that culture being, granted, ritualistic, ending
we don't know
self.
which way he's going. I failed, so therefore I've dishonored.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's not, that is a Japanese thing, but the other, form of the idea behind it is that, okay, I failed, I'm going to get captured, I'm going to get tortured, I'm going to get executed. I'd rather just, end it. Rather than suffer.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, 1971, British Labour Party leader Harold Wilson proposed Britain should work towards a withdrawal from Northern Ireland, and after 15 years, the Republic of Ireland could rejoin the British Commonwealth. I'm all for that. I'm independence all the way, everywhere. So, 1973, the U.S. cut maximum speed limit to 55 miles per hour as an energy conservation measure. That's right. The great oil crunch.
Yeah.
This of the early 70s.
Yeah.
So, hold on a second. 70s oil problem. The lines at the gas station. What was it? Limit 5 gallons per car or something?
I can't remember that, but I know that we went odd even on the license plates. You could only get gas.
Yeah.
It was every other day, and it was odd even.
Yeah, you think the gas situation today is bad. Could you imagine, sitting in a line like this? You were there, so you could imagine, but I'm talking to the young people watching, people like me and a little bit older and obviously younger, lines miles long. Not to get Chick-fil-A, but to get gas.
Yeah.
To get to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
If you can afford Chick-fil-A. In today's world, so, nuts. Sorry, no gas. Crazy.
Yep.
Ask Nixon for some. You know what? I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna change Nixon to Brandon.
No. You get yourself in trouble with these stupid memes anyway.
Yeah, you're right. But you know what? Then they'll just make me an abiter. No, I'm gonna fight. Don't tread on me. I'm gonna fight. So, Anyway, let's see here. What else do we have? 1975, a loyalist gang nicknamed the Shankill Butchers undertook its first cutthroat killing. The gang was named for its late-night kidnapping, torture, and murder by throat slashing of random Catholic civilians in Belfast. Yee! Wow. So, I mean, never say that the Christians were never under a foot. So, yeah. Can you imagine just getting your throat randomly slit because of your religious beliefs late at night? Just randomly, you don't even know. Oh, you're a Christian. You know, what the hell?
Still happening today.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, in France right now, all of those Syrian refugees are going around beheading people. In the streets. I've seen footage of it. The bodies, nuts. 1975, Netherlands granted Suriname independence in their national day, alright? I'm all for independence. 1976, the band's farewell concert. Now, the band, in San Francisco's Winterland Ballroom, San Francisco, California. Guest performers included Neil Young, John Mitchell, Van Morrison, Ringo Starr, and the Staple Singers. Concert film The Last Waltz, directed by Martin Scorsese. Alright. Yeah, Neil Young, someone who actually thinks he has any relevancy today. Oh, I'm going to leave Spotify if you continue hosting Joe Rogan. Okay, bye.
Yeah. See, who's more important to our station?
Who makes
Not
more
you.
money? Yeah, good luck. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
That was music.
Yeah.
But he's got a little bit too full of himself, I think.
Yeah. And his first name, he's giving all Neil's a bad rap,
Yeah.
So.
I don't know, he still makes good music.
Yeah. Anyway. 1976, Viking 1 radio signals from Mars helped prove the general theory of relativity. That's pretty big. Why is it not highlighted?
It should be.
Yeah.
It absolutely should be.
Yeah, that reminds me like an article from Thanksgiving, or this year's Thanksgiving. We didn't do a show that day, but we were talking about the first observation of the transit of Venus. You know what the transit of any planet is, right?
No.
It's, the moving from one side to another. It's in orbit.
No.
So, you can see with the naked eye, or not with the naked eye, but with a telescope, you can watch, Venus, like going by the sun. That's the transit of Venus.
Okay.
The first observation of such helped establish the size of the solar system.
Oh.
That is massive.
Yeah.
So, in both senses of the word. Anyway, 1977, David Steed balanced stationary on a bike for 9 hours, 15 minutes. What? So he's just sitting there, like, not moving, just...
Was he doing a Guinness record or something?
Must have been. I don't know why else you'd be doing it. I was bored. Like, oh, whoops, I'll call Guinness next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, 1979, Israel returned Alma oil fields in Gulf of Suez to Egypt. Good. They only return things to Egypt, so that's kind of weird. 1979, Pat Summerall and John Madden broadcast a game together for the first time, a pairing that lasts 22 years and becomes one of the most well-known partnerships in TV sportscasting history. Yeah. John Madden!
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Coach the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders. 1980, a coup in Burkina abolished the constitution. Yikes. While that was going on, Imran Khan scored his first Test cricket ton, 123 versus WI Lahore. So I'm just like, okay, cool, Imran Khan. And I brought that up because he's not just a cricket player, but he's also the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Ah.
So, that's really weird, like cricketer and Prime Minister. I'm not sure if he's currently serving. But yeah. As of the 2013 elections, his party became the second largest in the country, and in the 2018 elections, they ousted the PMLN from power and became the government for the first time? ? So is he still the Prime Minister of Pakistan? I'm not. You know what? Hold on. Let me. Who is the PM of Pakistan? It is currently Anwar ul Haq Kakar, so it is not that guy. So actually, it says here he's the caretaker prime minister. What the hell does that mean? The caretaker prime minister?
Almost like temporary.
Yeah.
Maybe he got. Did he get assassinated or something?
No. This guy, he's still alive. He's
okay.
The current one.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know why he's the caretaker.
That's a weird title.
Maybe he got appointed in the middle of something. Who knows?
I don't know. In Pakistani politics, I don't know. Hey, if anybody knows more than we do, which is not really that much of a feat, but go ahead and tell us in the comment section.
Ask a Pakistani.
Yeah, I knew Pakistani.
Good.
The guy who destroyed his motorcycle and almost got killed
on the pole.
Yeah. Rode his face up on a freaking signpost and knocked it off with his head. Well, he should have died. Not saying. I'm glad he survived.
He should have died from the accident. It's that bad.
Yeah. Like,
and he walked away.
He walked away with just a few scuffles. Like, absolutely an act of God. Anyway, 1980, Sugar Ray Leonard regained WBC welterweight boxing crown when Roberto Duran quit in the 8th round of infamous No Mas fight at the Superdome.
No Mas.
No Leon. No Mas. Afuela! 1981, Rolly Fingers was the first relief pitcher to win AL MVP, American League Most Valuable Player.
Yeah.
What a name, Rolly Fingers. It sounds like he's a stoner.
Fingers.
Oh, Rolly Fingers, not rolling fingers. He's not rolling things with his fingers, puff, puff, pass.
Rolling that baseball.
Yeah.
He was a great pitcher.
1982, the Minneapolis Thanksgiving Day fire destroyed an entire city block, including the Northwestern National Bank building and the recently closed Donaldson's department store. 1986, this is rather big. Here we go. The Iran-Contra affair erupted when President Reagan revealed secret arms deal. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
here we go. If anybody watched American Dad, Ollie North. While this was going on, Oliver North's secretary, Fawn Hall, smuggled documents out of his office. That's shady as fuck. So.
Yeah, he got busted for that.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Stan Smith's Ollie North song, from American Dad. The guy is a nut. Anyway, 1987. Super Typhoon Nina pummels the Philippines with a Category 5 winds of 165 miles per hour and a surge that swallows entire villages. At least 1,036 deaths are attributed to the storm. Wow.
Nina Pinta, Santa Maria.
Different Nina.
Oh, okay.
Because this one doesn't have an accent over the end. It's Nina or Nina. So this is Nina. So, let's see here. 1988 Convention on Exploitation of Antarctic Mineral Resources was signed. That's pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely.
While that was going on, the U.S. and Soviet chess grandmasters Donaldson and Akhmelig wed. I mean, that sounds like a movie,
Yeah.
Like, they're both grandmasters. They're rivals, but they're married. One's from the West, one's from the East, one's Democratic, one's Soviet. How will it go down? How will the children turn out?
Please.
I'm writing a screenplay! 1988, widespread earthquake hit northeast U.S., Canada, but no damage was reported. That's kind of weird. So,
yeah.
A widespread quake, but no damage, so... What was it, just a roll?
I don't know. And why is it reported at all on here?
Well, I mean, like, they felt it, but it didn't do any damage.
Do you know how many earthquakes we felt in our lifetime?
Oh, dude, like, here, let me go back up here really quick, because, like, we had a crazy earthquake one here really early on. 1930, Edo, Japan records 690 earthquake shocks in one day.
Wow.
Fuck.
Aftershocks, huh?
Just shocks, pre-shocks, aftershocks, whatever shocks. 690, whatever it was, I've already forgotten. But
a lot.
So, but it's Japan. So, what else do we got here? 1990.
We're in 88.
Oh, okay, 88. Thank you. 1990. Lech Walesa won Poland's first popular election.
Lech Walesa.
Yeah. Okay, this guy.
Yeah, that was a major breakthrough from them, from the Communist Party.
That picture makes me look like he wants to sell me a vacuum cleaner or something. He looks like a door-to-door, Hoover salesman or whatever. Oh, do I have the thing for you to make your cleaning life easier? Windex.
I think he was part of the unions that bolted and ended up bringing down the government.
Probably, yeah. Well, he was a labor activist, so there you go. 1994, Sony founder Akito Morita announced he will be stepping down as CEO of the company. That is big.
Yeah.
But Sony, they started off as a pen company or something. Like, how did Sony start? It started weird. 1946, it was a radio repair shop. That's right. In a bombed-out department store, originally known as Tokyo Tushian Kyogo KK, the Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporation. The company was founded by the physicists Maharashi Ubiko and Akito Morita. This guy.
Yeah.
Which later became Sony. So, yeah.
Nintendo, I just saw this the other day, was actually a small playing cart.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And yeah, that's what
I mean, like with Pokemon, they really stuck to their foundation. So, hey.
And the son or grandson, whoever he was, the founder, took over for the family. And I guess they're struggling, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Nintendo has nothing to do with Sony, so.
Well, no, maybe you're right. They did start off as a trading card game company.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. Moving on up to 1996, after 24 years, Disneyland Main Street Electrical Parade ended. Now, I know, because I was only 9 by then, and I know later on we did see the electrical parade, because Disneyland's just down the street.
Yeah.
Well, it's closer now than my childhood home at the time.
Yeah.
But we were still in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we've seen, the electrical parade. Remember all that?
I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And
I remember it.
This was 97, so you had plenty. When was
this?
It?
Was 96. This is when it ended. But I remember. And I know they have it today, I think.
They bring it back on... I don't know if they brought it back permanently, but what they started to do is bring it back on special events or special times.
Oh, okay.
Maybe over the Christmas break, they'd bring it back. And, we're going to have the electric, light parade now.
Which...
As an added feature. And maybe it's back permanent. I don't know.
Yeah, which if anybody...
I know you saw the numbers.
Yeah,
sure.
if anybody knows me, I hate Disney. But right now, I kind of want to watch that parade again,
Yeah, the music was really catching all the little lights and the little buggy things going around, spinning. And,
Yeah.
1997,
U.S. telephone technician Richard Bliss was arrested for spying in Russia. So spying for us. So that's probably putting in bugs or something.
Yeah.
So. Finally, in the year 2005, Polish Minister of National Defense Radek Sikorski opened the Warsaw Pact archives to historians, showing maps of possible nuclear strikes against Western Europe, including the nuclear annihilation of 43 Polish cities by Soviet-controlled forces. What?
That was their plans, the Warsaw plans.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't.
He opened up the files, and they're seeing that they had contingency plans for nuclear.
Oh, I thought he was suggesting that the Soviets possibly nuked places.
No. That was their contingency plans.
Okay.
Read it again. See if I'm right.
Well, no, I believe you because, clearly the Soviets didn't nuke anything. We are the only people who did any nukes of hate, to my knowledge. Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So everything else was just a test or a broken arrow. So.
I don't look at it as nuking as hate.
Well, when you use it in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that was hate.
Well, that's trying to defeat the Japanese. And
why were we trying to defeat them? Because we're at war. Why are we at war? It's an act of hate. It's an act of aggression.
Not when you're in war like that. It's not an act of aggression.
War is aggression.
Well, yeah, okay.
Everything in war is an act of aggression.
Okay, so that can't stand out any different than any other part of the war.
Okay, we are the only ones who use nuclear weapons in a violent way.
There's no other way with a nuclear weapon but violent.
Oh, I'm using what you said to me. My God, these are your quotes.
Yeah, but you're trying to make that out as a horrendous thing, and
it was a horrendous thing, but the alternative was worse. So
yeah, it is a horrendous thing. War is a horrendous thing.
As I said about our Japanese internment, that's bad. But what else are we gonna do when you're backed into a corner? What are you gonna do? Even a cornered mouse fights. So, yeah.
Well, we weren't in a corner, right? We were trying to end the war, and we had to decide. If we don't do this,
Well, the whole reason why we were developing a nuclear bomb to begin with, as you know, and I know, anybody who knows history, and go watch Oppenheimer. The whole reason why the Manhattan Project even existed was because we believed that the Germans were working with, which they were, working on their own nuclear weapons. So if not them, we gotta do it. Somebody's doing it. We gotta do it.
Yeah.
So
if they were the only one with it, you're done.
Yeah. And then it was
they're the only one.
Now this is and I mentioned this actually before in the Quarterings server earlier today. and it kind of disturbs me, you know, that the depiction, they wanted to build the bomb kind of maybe as a way, because they brought up, you know, how the Jews were being treated in Germany, you know, back in the time.
Yeah.
And they wanted to build the bomb to nuke Germany as retaliation, because, you know, Oppenheimer was Jewish. A lot of those people they're building it as a revenge weapon. That was their, because, like, remember when Germany surrendered, like, okay, we gotta stop. It's like, why are you stopping now? Like, you know, Japan is our allies. Oh yeah, but they're not going after the Jews. Like, they're portraying that in the movie. It's like, was the Manhattan Project, by the scientists behind it, were they doing it specifically to get back at Germany for what Germany was doing to their people? Because after Germany surrendered, at least in the movie, and I believe it is historically accurate to a certain point, all of a sudden they made a 180. They're like, oh hey, we gotta stop this, Germany's out, you know? Because, you know, on top of that, then there's also the aspect of Japan is not working on it, so there is that other aspect of it. You know, we were doing it because Germany was doing it, and then now we have no competition. We should have stopped, but we were already, you know, billions of dollars into it. You know, get it done.
Yeah.
So,
well, coulda, shoulda, woulda, I guess. But, anyways,
yeah. Anyway, okay, let's move on up here. 2007, the first European Parliament election and a referendum on changing the voting system, called by the president and declared invalid because of insufficient turnout, was held in Romania. That sounds fishy as hell.
Yeah.
So, 2009, flooding in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Powerful storm brings 3 years worth of rain in 4 hours. Holy shit. Killing over 150 people and sweeping thousands of cars away during the Hajj. And for those who do not know, the Hajj is their holy pilgrimage for the Muslims and everything. Like, you know, that's, you know, we call those who done them Hajis. You know, like if you look at Johnny Quest, his Indian counterpart called Haji. He was, you know, you call them Hajis because they've done the Hajj. I believe that's the thing. So, you know, when you do the Hajj, that, you know, every Muslim must do at least once in their life. They must make the pilgrimage. That's the Hajj. Then you become a Haji. I believe. I might be wrong, but so it is not a slanderous term, but it's used slanderous. Oh, you Haji is like, thank you.
Slanderous term? I've never heard of that.
It can be used as a derogatory way, like, oh, you get away from that Haji. It's like, what the hell? You know?
Have you heard that before?
I've heard it. You know, in all sorts of things.
Well, see, I'm a different generation. I never knew that existed.
Haji to me is a term of endearment. You know, like, I'm not a Muslim, but I respect.
Well,
I'm
an
know
the Hajj,
so.
but I never heard of Haji.
You know what? Let's look this up.
That's okay.
What is a Haji? Haji, a Muslim who has been to Mecca as a pilgrim.
Yeah,
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, 2014, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon ordered hundreds more U.S. National Guard troops to the town of Ferguson to prevent a night of rioting and looting. The Ferguson riots. You know, a whole certain community of people, you know, not getting their way and, you know, starting to have a temper tantrum and burn down their own communities. Yeah, that'll show us. So, yeah. While that was happening, protests erupt across the U.S. after a decision by Missouri grand jury. I think this was supposed to be beforehand. Once again, you know, because protests erupt.
Yeah.
Not to bring charges against a white policeman who shot dead a black teenager. Who cares what color it is? You know, only people who want to push differences care. You know.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, a major tragedy, no matter what.
It doesn't matter.
And it depends on the circumstances too.
And see,
but
here's the thing: if the roles were flipped, if it was a black cop shooting a white teenager, nobody would give a damn. You know,
any
why?
White teenager.
Yeah,
wouldn't have mattered.
You know, why is it important one way and not another?
Because it's politically expedient. It becomes political.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. So
and that's the shame of it.
Yep.
But it's still a tragedy.
The tragedy is a tragedy.
Yes.
I don't care, you know, what color you are, where you're from, whatever. A death is a death, and it sucks.
Don't shoot an unarmed kid.
Well.
Period.
Once again, you know, police, you know, it's easy for us to say, oh, well, they just shot. Dude, do you have any idea how difficult it is to be a policeman where you pull over somebody for a traffic stop and all of a sudden they pull out a gun and pop you?
Yeah.
You know, like, they are, like, as I said, being a police officer, I would argue, is even more dangerous than being a soldier, because soldiers know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
You know, granted, you know, they're going into war, you know, physically it is more dangerous, but as far as mental, as far as, you know,
day in and day out.
Day in and day out,
yeah. Okay.
You know, like,
let's move on.
Let's see here. 2014, Switzerland Bern Art Museum agrees to accept artworks looted from their Jewish owners by the Nazis. Okay.
Yeah. As they should.
Cool. 2017, longest known frozen embryo to be successfully born is delivered in Tennessee. Emma Wren Gibson, frozen 24 years ago. Wow. Wow. So been on ice for 24 years. So wouldn't that be like a polar opposite? Well, pun not intended, but greatly accepted. Polar opposite.
In theory, wouldn't he have been born 24 years old?
Well,
the sperm that's a living thing.
Well, I mean, when we're born,
technically not.
Well, here's the thing. That brings up this other question. When you're born, why aren't you counted it already as 9 months?
Yeah. I know. I've always said that.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, as I was saying, this is the polar opposite of the Walt Disney situation. He got put on ice after his death. They got put on ice before their conception. So, there you go. Anyway, 2018, EU leaders approved an agreement for Britain to leave the EU, Brexit.
Yeah.
So, 2018, a historic North Californian campfire declared 100% contained with 85 dead, 249 missing, covering 153,000 acres with 14,000 homes burnt. Oof. Yeah, California is perpetually on fire.
I'm sorry.
2018.
No, where?
North Californian campfire.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Where is it?
Up there by, real close to one of our customers. They knew people that lost their houses up there.
Yeah.
They had friends that lost their houses.
Yeah, well, like the person who owned the business next door to you at the time, wasn't he like throwing buckets of water or because he lived up there.
Oh, right? Yeah, our fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they came in and it was right in his backyard. He wasn't throwing, but they literally cut all the trees down so that it wouldn't jump onto the trees and keep going. And what happened is they came down with one of the flame retardant.
Oh yeah, the flames.
Yeah, and
the National Bird of California.
And his block.
Yeah.
And they were that it was that close and that dangerous for his house to be.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
What a house he's got up there too.
Bird of California. I mean. Yeah, here it is. California State Bird. Anyway, 2018 as well, the LA Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers set an NFL single game record, completing 25 straight passes in 45-10 win versus Arizona Cardinals. Woo! Mark Brunell and David Carr previously share record 22, also set NFL record for best single game completion percent at 96.6. Wow! Like, talk about a drumming right there. 45-10, they're dead. Stop. Take a break. Relax. Yeah. 2019, Baltimore's second-year quarterback Lamar Jackson became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3,000 passing yards and rush for 1,500 yards in his first 2 NFL seasons as the Ravens defeated the LA Rams 45-6. That's even worse. Ouch. So leave it to LA to somehow suck worse than the previous article. 2019 as well, the first defamation case in Australia by a sitting MP won by Sarah Hanson-Green over Liberal Democrat David Leon after he made sexist slurs against her. Okay. That's not too cash money of him. While that was happening, Louis Vuitton, LVMH, bought jeweler Tiffany & Company for over $16 billion.
Wow.
And LVMH, because Louis Vuitton bought somebody else, and MH stands for something else. LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. It's a French multinational holding and conglomerate specializing in luxury goods, headquartered in Paris. Okay. Well, I'm going to add that wiki link down there just for hee-haws. 2019, priceless royal jewelry was stolen from Dresden Green Vault in Germany from one of Europe's greatest treasure collections.
Ooh.
Oh, man. I was just watching a video the other day about a really elaborate heist and everything that got brought down because of a salami sandwich.
What?
Evidence and receipts and it's a whole confounding story, but it's yeah, and 1 or 2 people, one of which might actually not even be a real person, still at large. You know, the money's never been found.
Yeah.
You know, like, millions, tens of millions of dollars worth of stuff. Just stolen from, a vault with all sorts of security. You know, they figured out how to break everything. Anyway, 2020, dead and buried mink reported rising from the ground due to bloating after a hurried cull of millions of Kung Flu infected animals in Denmark. So, yeah, so they just killed, like in China, like they were going around, taking people's pets, euthanizing them, because it was an absolute crazy.
Yeah.
So people were going around killing their own animals and everything, burying them. So I guess a hurried bury, and it was the body was blowing because of expansion of gases in the body, decomposition, and it unearthed itself. So that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
All of a sudden there's a lemur balloon in the backyard. Don't pop it. 2021, last but not least, India has more girls than boys for the first time in its history, and its population boom is ending, according to a new government survey. About time, they are way overpopulated.
Why would the population boom be ending?
Because now there's a balance. So
there's more girls than boys for the first time. How
Yeah.
does that end population explosion?
that is a good question, because now with 1-to-1, it'd make it even more. So I don't know either. I'm no scientician of that thing, whatever. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. Links to all of our various video sharing streaming sites. We're not just on Rumble or on YouTube. We're also on BitChute and we're on Odyssey, but because of Odyssey's, centralized, their own cryptocurrency system, upload, yada yada, we only upload there a couple of times. Anyway, for your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you, and until you catch us, later, or if you're interested in some ufology, paranormal, conspiracy, what were you going to say?
What's the show tonight?
I'm getting into that. Yeah, if you're interested in some ufology, paranormal, conspiracy, we have The Edge of Disclosure Theon coming up tonight. Finally, once again, at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. So, and we also have, the Peanut tomorrow, and, all that stuff. So, yeah, until you see us again, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!